Hello again, Tumblr. So, I recently hit 2,500 followers. I love you all. Hello. And so this is the Q&A video that I have been promising for quite a while now. So, I got a list of questions, and I'm also playing a Fall Out Boy in the background right now because the sound of me just listening to myself talk for a while annoys me. But you, probably never guessed that. Okay, this is so embarrassing. So I have this list of questions that's on my screen right now, and I'm just gonna go down them. So Tumblr user 66th Midnight asked me, when did you start blogging? I started blogging in January of 2013? 2013, 2014? 2013, yeah. Because it was January of my sophomore year of college. Katie, Tumblr user Mulders, asked me, why are you so kick-ass? It's because I was hatched from an egg. I am made of fairy dust and the sacred waters of an eternal fountain of sass. I didn't plan that answer, by the way. It just, happened. Okay. Tumblr user, Emma, Tumblr user Paikia Piranha, what did you want to be when you grew up? Okay, so this is actually super interesting, and I didn't realize how interesting it was until later. When I was 3, I wanted to be a cop, which, now is super embarrassing. And then when I was 7, I wanted to be a teacher, because my mom was a teacher. And then when I was 11, I wanted to get into politics. When I was 15, I wanted to be in federal law enforcement, so I wanted to be a cop again. And now I want to be a civil rights attorney. And looking back, it's really interesting to me that I've never wanted to do something that's not some form of public service. So yeah. Meg, Tumblr user Little Political Nebula, I'm sorry. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? This is actually hard because I have, where I want to be in 10 years, which is, as a super successful civil rights attorney, saving the world and blah, blah, blah. Where I'm probably going to be in 10 years is in some, dead-end corporate law job that I hate, trying to pay off all my student loans. It's going to be great. Sasa Blanca. Okay, I feel so bad for Tumblr user Sasa Blanca because she and I have been in a mutual follow for, ever, and I still don't know her first name, and I'm super sorry about that. I love you a lot, and I really should know this. Anyway, her question was, why did you choose your majors? It's majors plural because I'm a triple major. So I entered college as a criminal justice major because, I was still I wanted to be in federal law enforcement phase at the time. And then I started realizing that the system is jacked. So I started studying political science as well. And that made me, more of a successful political activist, I guess. And, all through college, I had been an English minor just because I really like writing. I'm good at it. And then I realized that I had enough time and I had enough credits left that I could declare a triple major and still finish on time. So I declared a triple major in English just so that I could get as much writing practice as I could, because good lawyers are good writers, and I knew by then I wanted to be a civil rights lawyer. Tumblr user Ramen Noodles 20 asked a series of questions. What is your favorite quote? It's from a Coldplay song. It's from the song Fix You. It's Lights Will Guide You Home. And I'm not going to get into why, but it does mean a lot to me. Next question. What are the places you would like to visit? I've never been to India, and I really want to go. For obvious reasons. I'd also like to go to Pakistan because that's where my dad and his younger brothers grew up. And I also really want to go to England, just because my mom, who's the white parent, raised me to be a bit of an Anglophile. So yeah. I'd also really like to see Palestine. Yeah. Okay. Next question. What are your favorite books? 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult. The New Jim Crow by Michelle Alexander. And the third Harry Potter book, Prisoner of Azkaban. It's my favorite Harry Potter. And then Ramen Noodles 20's final question, do you prefer fiction or nonfiction books? I really like fiction. I understand the utility of nonfiction, but I feel like since I read so much and have to give so much weight to it, that it's not really a source of entertainment, I guess, anymore, because I use it too much like my actual real life. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. All right. Naomi, Tumblr user Braincella, is a pain in my ass. Also asks a series of questions. The first of which is, how do you feel about Naomi Braincella? Well, she's a pain in my ass, but she's a lovely human being, and she's one of my best friends, and I'm really, really glad that she's part of my life. And this is her being a little shit. Can you recite the first paragraph of the Sorcerer's Stone? I actually can't recite it from memory, surprise, surprise, but... And, like, I'm at my dad's house right now, and this isn't, like, my bedroom. It's, like, a guest room that I use when I'm over here. So I'm gonna Google it right now and just read it. If I had been prepared, I would have already had this pulled up. I do know the first sentence. It's Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to inform you they were perfectly normal. Thank you very much. Okay. I have a PDF up. Did you know this is open source? Okay. Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Chapter 1, The Boy Who Lived. Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4 Privet Drive were proud to say that they were perfectly normal, thank you very much. They were the last people you would expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. Mr. Dursley was the director of a big firm called Grunnings, which made drills. He was a big, beefy man with hardly any neck, although he did have a very large moustache. I just said moustache, oh my god. Mrs. Dursley was thin and blonde and had nearly twice the usual amount of neck, which came in very useful as she spent so much of her time craning over garden fences, spying on the neighbors. The Dursleys had a small son called Dudley, and in their opinion there was no finer boy everywhere. No finer boy anywhere. Okay. So there's that. Naomi's next question. By the way, I hope it's like, is it Naomi or Naomi? And we've been friends for way too long for me to ask that question. I'm so sorry. How did you get to be so adorable? As I answered Katie, it's because I was hatched out of various and sundry magical substances. Okay. And these next two reference inside jokes. Can you describe Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream ice cream to me? And okay. I can't believe I'm about to explain this. Carrie and Naomi and I were in this group text one time and we were talking about Stephen Colbert's Americone Dream, which for those of you who don't know is a Haagen-Dazs ice cream flavor that he sponsors, I guess. I don't know. And one of the factors in it is little bits of a waffle cone, except that, God, I forget who it was. I think it was Naomi, actually, who mistyped it and said that there was a little bit of cum in the ice cream. And I just lost my shit. Oh my god. It was the most awkward thing in history forever. Next question. Who is Vodka Carrie? Okay, so Tumblr user Carrie Take Luna to the Moon one time was in her house and she saw this large glass of clear liquid sitting on the sink on the counter and she thought that it was water. So she picked it up and took a huge gulp of it and it was vodka. And this is funny because not only is Carrie 17, but she's like never touched alcohol in her entire life. And for those of you who know, like you know that like straight vodka tastes like burning potatoes coated in shit. And that's why you cut that with cranberry juice. Like, come on. And so ever since then, she has been Vodka Carrie. Okay. And then Naomi asked me how I feel about the Tea Party. I love the Tea Party. The Tea Party is just great. They're everything that I want for American politics. Literally ever. Okay. Okay, Tumblr user of City Romance. What are some of the first albums or CDs that you remember buying? Okay, this is so embarrassing because I actually do remember the very first CD that I ever bought. It was a Hilary Duff CD. And I just told the internet. Okay. Tumblr user Jana Alpha Lady, who has the same first name as me, which is pretty cool. Asked, if you had to pick one moment to define or highlight the last year of your life, what would it be? Probably the time that I walked out of the middle of class because racism was happening. Because I think it proved to me exactly how much, over the last couple of years, I've grown as, like, a political activist, as, you know, an accountable person in the world. That was a good time. That was really great. It was super dramatic, too, because I was wearing this, like, long, like, floor-length skirt. It was very, like, swishy and dramatic as I walked out of it. It was great. Okay, Tumblr user Miss Andre Ferry. What is an embarrassing story of yours? Oh god, It's pretty embarrassing that I interned for a prosecutor's office for 8 months. Because over that time I realized how much I hate prosecutors. And how racist the entire system is. Yeah, I'm pretty embarrassed by that. Okay. Oh god, but she probably wants a better story. When I was 17, so like the very beginning of senior year of high school, I asked out one of my really good guy friends, and he said yes. And then he proceeded to like ignore me for the next 6 months. Like entirely ignore me. Like social media, in person, the whole deal. And for a while I kept like trying to get in touch with him, like, hey, we need to talk about this. Like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. Everything. He ignored everything. And eventually I realized I was making a fool out of myself. And I know that it lasted, actually it lasted about 9 months, because he didn't start talking to me until about the week before my birthday, which was in April. Is in April. My birthday's still in April. And his excuse was basically that I had intimidated him. And I shocked him, and so he just said yes. Which is a very lame, punk-ass white boy excuse for ignoring one of your best friends for 9 months. We're not best friends anymore because he turned out to be a pro-life rape apologist, so dodge that bullet. Okay. Abby, Tumblr user Empathic with 2 A's. What was your first fandom? I guess it was Harry Potter. Except that I wasn't like a super dedicated Harry Potter blog when I started. But like my first dedicated fandom, I guess, that I contributed to and like wrote fic and meta and whatever for was Supernatural. It just was. Oh, the wild days of my youth. Where am I on this? Okay, Tumblr user Adriana the Archer Ballet. How much do you love me? I love you hella. Okay, and her other question was, what's your favorite who is your favorite Harry Potter character and why? My favorite Harry Potter character is Sirius Black. Because he just gives me a lot of hope about the condition of the human soul and like the ability of the human soul to continue loving, I guess, after it's been to hell and back. So yeah. Tumblr user Mooney, Tumblr user Banana Daiquiri. Who's your favorite professor and why? Okay, so my favorite professor is this like tall, pasty ginger white boy who can't be any older than 32. And he's in the political science department. He is one of the only really, really, really accountable cishet white men I've ever met in my life. He means a lot to me. He's really inspiring as a person. He's also wicked smart. He's so intelligent. And he also thinks that I'm absolutely brilliant, which, you know, helps. So there's that. Oh my god. So one of my best friends graduated this past spring. And she and I had a class with the favorite professor together. And apparently at the political science dinner, which is where the department buys a bunch of food and alcohol for the outgoing seniors, because favorite professor's partner just gave birth to twin girls. Yay. And he apparently went up to my friend Anna Rose's parents, because Anna Rose is also an accountable white person, and was like, you have managed to, in Anna Rose, raise a really accountable white person as your child, and I would like to know how you did it so I don't fuck up with my own kids. Please. God. Like, I really, really like his relationship with his partner, but otherwise, oh my god, I would really, really want to marry him. Okay. Lisi, Tumblr user Padjad, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. How would you describe your drawing and sewing skills? I can't draw for shit. I'm embarrassingly bad at drawing. I can't, like, I'm so bad at drawing that I don't doodle in class. Instead, I like handwrite song lyrics in cursive because I can't draw. I'm not even good enough at drawing to like do a random ass doodle. That's how bad it is. Sewing. I'm actually not that bad at sewing. I made a bunch of outfits for my teddy bears when I was growing up, and I made my mom this like embroidered throw pillow for one of her birthdays, and I like stuffed it with scraps of material and like Kleenex and shit. So, I mean, I haven't done it in a few years, but I'm decent at it. Tumblr user really cool URL 12. What's your favorite breakfast? I like the whole plate deal. You know, you can get like pancakes with the fruit flavored syrup. I'm not a big fan of maple syrup, but I do really like the fruit flavored ones. And hash browns and like turkey bacon. Yeah. And coffee, because you know. Tumblr user Nedroleon. Oh. Who is this person? Someone just asked to follow me on Instagram. I don't know who they are. You're probably a Tumblr user because I have a link to my Instagram. Oh, it's Little Political Nebula. Hi, Meg. Okay, yes. Cool. Awesome. Yeah. Okay. Where am I? Tumblr user Nedroleon. What movie character do you most identify with? I don't get into movies in the same way that I get into TV shows, but Oh god, I just had one. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's character from Inception, who has a name. It's been so long since I've seen that movie. Arthur. Arthur, there we go. Because he like really wants to believe in the fantastic, but he really wants like a set order to it. So yeah. Tumblr user James Potters with a Z. What are some of your favorite musicians? My favorite artist ever is Coldplay. I got into Fall Out Boy like later than most people get into Fall Out Boy. Just because when they were before they went on hiatus, I really didn't like Dance Dance, the song, and it was on the radio all the time, and I didn't like it, so I decided I didn't like Fall Out Boy. So it wasn't until they released Save Rock and Roll that I started really listening to them, and I really got into them, and I'm going to go see them live the day after tomorrow. Super exciting. Also, My Chemical Romance and Anne Boleyn are my other two favorites. So I am clearly not out of my emo phase. Obviously. Okay. Alright, Fiona Tumblr user Flourish and Blots, who's a piece of shit also, asked me, who the fuck do you think you are? I think I'm better than you, first of all. And then her second question, if you were a hamburger, what kind of hamburger would you be? I would probably be an animal-style hamburger from In-N-Out. And then there was this other really long and complicated question about a bull who I'm in a ring and I'm like fighting this bull, but something in its eyes makes me identify with it, or it seems familiar. So what do I do? And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do with that? Fiona, you're like, I hate you. Okay. So enough of you, Fiona. Tumblr user James Tyquirius. French fries or tater tots? French fries. With Thousand Island. Or ketchup. Either or. Okay. Todd, Tumblr user Kneel Before Todd. her question was, why are you so into the Vampire Diaries? And I'm not into the Vampire Diaries, okay? I swear to God. It's just that, I, every once in a while, I'll, like, binge watch the first 2 seasons, only the first 2 seasons. And I keep, like, whenever I do this, like, without fail, I will message Todd everything that is wrong with them. And it's shit like, how is an Italian family one of the founding families of a town in pre-Bellum, Virginia? That doesn't make any sense. Or, like, wait, how old are John Gilbert and Isabel supposed to be? Because John's older brother was already a doctor when John was being a teenager and getting her pregnant. Like, this timeline doesn't make any fucking sense. Also, how can they justify Elena being in a romantic relationship with Damon when he's a literal rapist and murderer? He killed her brother that one time. This is why I don't watch the show past the 2nd season. So fuck you, Todd, also. This whole video is just me being super rude to all of my friends. Tumblr user Jessie the Paladog. What's your favorite ass-kicking outfit? And she also asked for a photo, which unfortunately I can't do right now. Because some pieces of it are still in Seattle. Okay, so it's black skinny jeans, and I have, my favorite shirt is, it's all black, and it's pretty tight, and it's like a v-neck, and it has 3/4 length sleeves. It's, very dramatic looking. And then my combat boots, and then my leather jacket. Yeah. In the dark. Okay. Tumblr user Claire Monet. When or why did you start Tumblr? Okay, like I said earlier, I started Tumblr in January 2013. Basically because this girl, who I was really good friends with at the time, told me to. And I just kind of... I was in a really bad place in my life at the time. I had an eating disorder. And I just started treating this blog, I guess, as my diary. And I followed a bunch of, like, Harry Potter people, which led me to follow a bunch of Supernatural people, which was why I started Supernatural, I guess. The girl who made me start Tumblr, she and I aren't friends anymore, and it ended, like, super badly, which is why I'm not, like... Okay, moving on. Tumblr user Abstracted Charm. This is, okay, you and I have also been friends for a really long time, and I also don't know your real first name, and I'm really sorry. I'm a shitty friend. Drink of choice. Cherry cider. Like hard cider. The real stuff. I really, really like sweet alcohol, because I'm a giant baby. You heard me describe straight vodka earlier. Like, come on. I'm 12. Like, let's get real. So yeah, cherry cider. Tumblr user Joe Kalas. I really hope that's how you pronounce your URL, and if it's not, I'm really sorry. Asked me, what do I think of toads? I think that toads are really, really great, especially your toad Trevor. Your toad Trevor is a beacon of light in this dark world. I genuinely appreciate toads. Okay. Tumblr user Peace, Love, and Drugs. Favorite movie? Probably Inception. Just for whatever reason. I don't know. Tumblr user Second Arabesque. Favorite musical? Chicago. Only because of the Cell Block Tango. When I was in high school, I was in color guard, and we did like a modified version of that routine. I was pop, so I went first. So yeah, I heard 2 warning shots into his head. He had it coming. He had it coming. He only had himself to blame. If you'd have been there, if you'd have seen it, I bet you would have done the same. I can't sing. I have 0 talent for singing, so I'm really sorry about that. Okay, what's next? Tumblr user Little Heisler. Do you have a favorite genre of music? Emo rock. When I was 15, my Scene Kid phase, Twilight phase, and Republican Party phase all overlapped. I was a hot mess sophomore year of high school. Okay. Leia, Tumblr user, political sex kitten. If you could be in any profession and master any talent or skill, what would that be? Like, Leia, you know this. I know that you know the answer to this. I would want to be a civil rights attorney, and the skill that I would want to master is making money at it. Just so I can pay off my fucking student loans. I just said a bad word. Okay. Kayla, Tumblr user Kayla Lalama asked me, what is your favorite donut? Okay, so, in Bellingham, Washington, there's this, like, artistically grungy little donut shop. Like, it's all retro and 50s and whatever. And they have apple fritters, but right next to the apple fritters, they have blueberry fritters. Oh my god, I would kill puppies for those blueberry fritters. They're so important to me. Like, I can be bribed with those. If you want to hire me to kill somebody, $500,000 and a blueberry fritter. And I'll do it. And I'll get away with it too, because I took a class called Crime Scene Medical Legal Death Investigation that was co-taught by the King County Medical Examiner and the sergeant in charge of the Seattle Police Department CSI unit. He was a piece of shit, by the way. Never take a class from a cop. It's a bad experience. Don't do it. Tumblr user Andrea, and I'm going to mispronounce your URL because it's French and I don't fuck around with that shit. Andrea, Tumblr user La Fille du Jeudi. I don't know, fuck it. You have to choose between living in Super Mario 64 or Pokemon the Ruby version. Pokemon the Ruby version because I want a pet Pikachu. Just because then someone's obligated to love me. Okay. Tumblr user Carrie, take Luna to the moon, otherwise known as Vodka Carrie. Who's also a piece of shit and sent me like 5 different questions. What is your favorite thing about Sam Winchester? I love Sam Winchester's hair, especially from season 6. But I also really love Sam Winchester's determination to always see the best in literally everyone around him. And I really love Sam Winchester's ability to keep going after his life has been ruined. But also the hair. It's really the hair. Would you rather be a superpowered member of the Avengers or be Maria Hill? See, I'm confused by this question, Carrie, because I thought Maria Hill is a superpowered member of the Avengers. Otherwise, I don't recognize that question. I won't respond to it. Do you know how to put down Fiona's demon cat? I only do contract hits on people. Okay. And why are you so obsessed with me? It's because you took a swig of vodka sitting on your counter. Want to go? Okay. And if you could go anywhere in the world, where would it be and why? India. I want to see where I'm from. So, yeah. Okay, and then I got a series of questions from Anons. First of which is, why are you so perfect? I think a better question is, why do all of you think I'm so perfect? Because I'm actually a piece of shit. What would you say to 10-year-old you? That you didn't do anything wrong. And it's okay to tell people. Probably. What do you think of John Green? John Green is a piece of shit. Okay, I fucking hate John Green. Okay, here's why. And back it up a little bit. The 3 biggest sellers in juvenile lit ever are J.K. Rowling, Suzanne Collins, and Stephanie Meyer. No matter what your feelings are about that last one, and I have several feelings about Twilight, none of which are good, this genre used to be dominated by female authors. Because aside from those 3, who are powerhouses, you have Sarah Dessen, and then you have Laurie Halse Anderson. Laurie Halse Anderson actually started an imprint at her publishing company called Speak, under which all of John Green's books were published, and suddenly he gets to be the king of young adult literature. So he has he has all this control over how teenage girls are starting to perceive themselves in their literature. He writes a manic pixie dream girl like no one's fucking business, and it really annoys me. The entire manic pixie dream girl trope annoys the shit out of me, and he can release all the statements that he wants about how, oh, it's just that my male characters, it's bad about them that they see these manic pixie dream girls. Like, you literally are writing from the male gaze, and you're writing about manic pixie dream girls. Not everyone's going to have access to the statements that you make about your characters behind the scenes. This is how you're portraying your teenage girls. Also, if you're gonna call Anna Frank just a girl who got sick and died, I'm gonna fucking come for you and not feel bad about it. You don't do that. You don't have that right. Okay, that was happy. Next question. Chocolate with fruit, yay or nay? It depends on the fruit. Like, I wouldn't stick a blackberry in chocolate, but I would definitely... I love chocolate-coated cherries. My grandfather, really, really like chocolate liqueurs. So, chocolate liqueur cherries. So they're like, it's like this, I want to say bulb of chocolate. And there's a maraschino cherry in it, but the bulb is like way bigger than the cherry. So also in there with the cherry, there's like this cherry cordial, which is a super sweet, super low proof alcohol. And my grandfather passed away when I was 13. And he really liked cherry liqueurs. Like, every Christmas my mom would get him at least one box. But at the end of his life, he couldn't eat them anymore, like for health reasons. So after he passed, and I was being this like super angsty little 13-year-old, like wandering around the house being mad at the world, I uncovered this as yet unopened box of cherry liqueurs. And I ate the entire box. And so even though cherry cordial has a really low proof, if you're 13, and I was a small kid at 13, and you eat 12 of them very, very quickly, that's the equivalent of doing a shot. If you've ever seen a 13-year-old do a shot on effectively an empty stomach, that was this girl. It was bad. It was a bad time. But the point is that ever since then, I actually do still really like cherry liqueurs, and I will eat them a lot. What is the last moment you remember feeling happy? Actually just now. I just got off the phone with my cousin Amber, and we were talking for like an hour as she's wandered around the Irvine Spectrum trying to find something to wear for when we go see Fall Out Boy in 2 days. And she's one of my favorite people in the world, and I'm really excited. Like, I'm gonna see her really soon, but I'm still super excited to talk to her. So yeah. Where do you see yourself in 2 years? God willing, in law school. Like, whatever. Guys, I gotta start applying to law school. They're gonna expect real adulthood out of me soon. Don't grow up, it's a trap. Okay. And what is something that makes you feel rad without fail? Hanging out with people who I know love me, I guess. Which is super, super shitty. Like, that's a cop-out. It's a cop-out answer. But yeah, that's basically it. I actually, like, an hour ago got a text from one of my Seattle friends saying that she's home visiting her family who live like 40 minutes away from me. And we're going to try really hard to hang out while she's down here. So I'm excited about that. It's Tumblr user Adriana Regina, in case you're curious. So, yeah. So that's it. I hope you guys really enjoyed this. I don't know. I'm not that interesting. But, yeah. Thank you all for still putting up with me after all this time. Always. And, okay. Jenna out.